Hey, I'm Braden Myers of Myers Motors here on YouTube, and today marks 1 year since my first upload. And in that time, we've posted 24 videos, grown over 1,100 subscribers, and accumulated over 4,000 hours of watch time. So thank you to everyone who has watched my videos and subscribed over the last year. It's been really awesome to see. The other thing those numbers mean is that right now, as of today, we are now officially monetized. So again, thank you guys for all that. So in this video, I really just wanted to cap out the year by looking back at everything we've accomplished so far, as well as forward to see what all the next coming year might have in store for us on the channel. And where better to start than with the car that started it all, the E36 M3. So let's go check it out. I bought this M3 a year ago, and it really is the project that inspired me to go ahead and start this channel. Over the course of 5 videos, we brought it back from totally dead all the way to running and driving again. And I'll link the full project playlist in a card right up here if you're interested in checking that out. My dad ended up buying this car off of me, and restoration efforts have been continuing slowly in the background. As you can see, we secured a hardtop for it, and we also got a pair of very clean Dove Gray Vaders that will also be going into this car shortly. All in all, it was a really cool project to kickstart the channel, and I'm looking forward to making some more content with it this coming year. So this whole project here actually segues directly into this car. This is the first BMW I ever bought. It's a 1995 BMW E34 525i with a 5-speed manual. And I actually originally bought this M3 with the intention of just pulling the motor and dropping it into this thing because it is a direct swap. But obviously this car ended up being too good for that, so that never happened. But that's not to say that this thing won't be getting us 52 swapped. We've been doing a lot of suspension work on this thing lately, and it really has improved the handling qualities of this car significantly. We've replaced some suspension arms, all 4 shocks and struts, and even lowered it a hair on some H&R springs. And all of this we've been doing to really make this thing S52 worthy when that time comes. So definitely check all that out if you're interested, and swapping this thing is definitely high on my list of things to do this coming year. So definitely make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that. And in the meantime, we've got some more cosmetic and suspension work to do on this thing that'll definitely keep me busy. So on the subject of future projects, I wanted to give you a little sneak peek of something that you'll be seeing a little more of here in the near future. I've been doing a little restoration work to this thing in the background, and you'll be seeing more of that shortly. So at this point, working our way through the collection here, I have to go ahead and mention this thing. This is my 1990 Subaru Legacy. I bought it earlier this year from the original owner, and it's been a fantastic parts hauler. I've done a lot of work to it here and there. Haven't really shown any of that on the channel though. That's just because the Subaru videos just don't do well, unfortunately. But I originally bought this car with the intention of having it as like a winter car. But the only problem with that is this thing has no traction control, no ABS, and just no traction to begin with. I mean, the tires are like that wide. They're absolutely minuscule. So the car is actually kind of dangerous with any amount of precipitation on the ground, even just rain. So my only intention with this thing going forward is just to go ahead and clean it up and sell it. And in doing so, I will be opening up a new slot for another winter beater. So stay tuned to see how that ends up playing out. So speaking of selling cars, I figured now is a good time to go ahead and discuss some of the cars that have gotten sold so far this year. Firstly, back in April, I sold my E46 328i. It only showed up in one video where I changed the valve cover gasket, but I bought that car for 400 bucks and ended up selling it for 2 grand, so not too bad there. The thing dumped oil profusely and every single bushing clunked, but it was a very solid, reliable beater car. And next up, back in October, I sold my other E34 5-speed 525i. I bought that car from the original owner for 1,700 bucks. It was a Euro import. It was a really cool car, very well looked after mechanically. We did some work to it here on the channel, and I ended up doing a 30-hour detail on it. And the car ended up selling for 4,500 bucks, so not bad there either. And rounding out my sales for the year, sadly, last week I had to sell my 04 WRX. I'd bought it for 2,700 bucks. It was totally rust-free, totally unmodified. It did need a lot of work. I'd bought it as a project with hopes of restoring it to its former glory, but I really just ended up with too many projects on my hands. But I did end up selling it for 3,500 bucks, so all in all, not bad there either. But what projects stayed then? Funny you ask, we're actually on our way to go check those out right now. All right, so over here, there are currently 3 dead E39s. I guess we can go ahead and start with this one here. This is my 6-speed 540i M Sport. It currently has no rear subframe. The subframe to this car is actually sitting right over here. And as you can see, it is currently not straight, nor is anything in one piece. I'm gonna leave that at that. But long story short, that car needs a new rear subframe, which brings us to this car in here. This is my blue 540i 6-speed M Sport. And I originally bought this car with the intention of pulling the rear subframe to put into this car, as well as some other bits and pieces, but it quickly became apparent that this car was too good for ripping it apart either. So that never happened, and we're actually in the process of tearing down the motor for further diagnostic and also for repairs. Turns out this car is only running on 4 cylinders. Whole entire bank is just not running, and we'll get to the exact details as to why in an upcoming video here shortly. But long story short, this car is another ongoing project in the background, so stay tuned for updates on that. But anyway, back to this thing. Still need a subframe. That brings us to this car. This is a 528i automatic. It met an untimely demise when it was overheated and the head gasket blew and the head cracked. I had no part in that, but it became a perfect candidate to pull the rear subframe out of for that car, and that's actually what we're working on back here right now. So this is the rear subframe out of this 528i and currently transferring all the 540 bits over to it. CV axles and differential. Those are the only things that are different between the 540i's and all the other E39s. So there's a little tidbit for you, but yeah, so this subframe, hopefully today actually, we'll be putting up into the 540 here, and we'll be able to put it back onto its wheels and hopefully get it running and driving again. So that's first on this list. Hopefully this one will get back on the road. This car up in here will be a little bit longer term of a project, and this 528i will be off to the scrapyard. So anyways, that wraps up our year in review. All in all, it was a great first year on YouTube, and that's all thanks to you guys watching and subscribing. I really appreciate the support. It's been really cool to see. As I've been mentioning, there's a lot more to come. Hopefully we see all of these projects through to completion, as well as some intermittent repairs here and there. And maybe we'll even put an M3 motor in my E34. If you haven't been able to tell, I really want a S52 powered E34. But anyways, all that being said, I also want to try out some new things this coming year as well. I want to shoot some car reviews, but in more of like a documentary / video essay style. So basically like a car review, but looking bigger than just one car. I hope that makes sense. And if not, hopefully I'll be able to show you what I'm talking about early this coming year. So keep an eye out for that. But until then, again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, subscribe down below. Maybe even check out some of my other videos if you're interested. And until next time, I'll catch you in the next video.